Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're going to be exploring how to take your everyday smart home devices and completely transform them from just, simple conveniences into absolute essential academic tools. Because if you've ever felt like your own room is actively fighting your ability to focus, well, you're definitely in the right place. We are going to build your digital foundation today. We're setting up an environment that actually works with you instead of against you. Okay, let's dive right into this. Just take a quick mental look around your room right now. Is your bedroom secretly distracting you? See, we usually think of our rooms as our sanctuary, right? Like the primary place to recharge and get studying done. But an untamed analog environment is actually just packed with hidden friction. You've got your phone buzzing on the nightstand, maybe the lighting's harsh and straining your eyes, and literally every time you sit down to work, 10 other things are pulling at your attention. We really need to challenge this setup. It's about taking control and intentionally designing a space that absolutely demands focus. And here is our chronological roadmap for a truly successful digital student's day. First, the modern student. Second, the morning routine. Third, building that ultimate workspace. Fourth, focus and breaks. And finally, winding down.
All right, starting off with part one, the modern student, defining smart living.
So what do we actually mean by smart living here? It's really the integration of smart home devices as totally frictionless tools for academic success, focus, and well-being, rather than just treating them as mere luxury gadgets. For the longest time, things like smart bulbs or voice assistants, they were kind of viewed as toys, right? Like cool little party tricks to turn on the TV. But honestly, that is such an outdated view. For the modern student, this is about moving way beyond just having a smartphone in your pocket. It's about intentionally engineering a complete ecosystem. Every single device in your space should be a frictionless tool that just strips away the barriers between you and your academic goals. It's all about leveraging this tech to protect your energy and really enhance your mental well-being.
Let's move into part two, hacking your morning routine, starting right.
Now, what's really interesting here is that there are essentially two entirely different ways you can start your life every single day. The traditional routine relies on those jarring, blaring phone alarms, and we all know that terrible feeling. It jolts you awake in the pitch dark, massively spikes your cortisol levels, and just instantly throws your brain into a state of sheer stress. You hit snooze, you feel completely groggy, and bam, that early morning brain fog sets in for hours. But contrast that with a smart routine. We're talking about gentle, smart lighting routines that actually mimic the sunrise. If you program your room's smart lights to just gradually brighten over, say, 30 minutes before you actually need to be up, you are naturally signaling your brain to halt melatonin production. You wake up feeling genuinely refreshed, calm, and actually ready to tackle complex information. The immediate impact this has on clearing up early morning brain fog is absolutely a game changer.
So let's just distill this down into some really actionable morning steps. First off, ditch the phone alarm completely. Just get the phone right out of your immediate reach. Second, automate your room lighting to align perfectly with your wake-up schedule. And third, use that automated environment to wake up gradually. Doing this completely slashes early morning stress, and it sets this incredibly positive, focused tone for the hours of studying you have ahead.
Okay, on to part three, building the ultimate workspace, frictionless focus.
Picture this. You are deep in the zone. You're literally covered in eraser dust halfway through this massive, incredibly complex calculus or physics problem, and suddenly you realize you need to do a really quick conversion or calculation. Now, the analog struggle here is that you have to drop your pencil, completely break your physical workflow, and reach over for your smartphone to open the calculator. But we all know what happens next, right? You unlock the screen, and boom. 3 text messages, a random app notification, an email from a professor, your focus is totally shattered. And it's going to take you a good 20 minutes to get back into that deep state of flow. The smart solution is entirely different. By just having a hands-free voice assistant sitting right there on your desk, you get instant answers without ever taking your eyes off the paper or your hands off your pencil. It is completely 100% frictionless.
You literally just ask it out loud, "What is the square root of 256?" And the assistant just answers back instantly. You write down 16 and you just keep moving, right? By simply speaking your query aloud to a smart device, you completely bypass the entire visual minefield of a smartphone screen. You stay entirely, fully locked into the study zone. And look, I know it sounds like a tiny little change, but if you compound that level of unbroken focus over an entire semester, it yields absolutely incredible academic results.
Which brings us perfectly to part 4, managing focus and breaks, the smart schedule.
Because let's be real, maintaining momentum is easily the hardest part of being a student. It isn't just about starting the work. It's about keeping that focus locked in for hours at a time without totally burning yourself out. And this brilliantly illustrates the perfect sequence to actually fix that. Step 1. You set your study intention. Step 2. You voice-activate a smart Pomodoro timer. You literally just say, start a 25-minute focus session. Step 3. You work completely uninterrupted until the smart clock gives you a gentle auditory or visual alert. And Step 4. You take a mandatory timed break. What is so incredibly powerful about this is how the technology is basically stepping in to act as your disciplinarian. It enforces healthy, rigorous study boundaries without you having to exert a single ounce of manual willpower just to check the clock. You offshore all that timekeeping to the room itself, which frees up all of your cognitive load for the actual studying.
And if you want to execute this exact focus routine, here are the specific tools you should rely on. Voice-activated timers, so you can initiate sessions without ever touching a screen. Visual smart clock cues. Imagine an LED strip quietly turning red when it's time to grind and then green when it's time to rest. And honestly, most importantly, automated break reminders that basically force you to physically step away from the desk, stretch out, and just let your brain naturally consolidate all the amazing information you just absorbed.
All right, bringing it home with part 5, winding down for sleep, closing the loop.
So smart tech isn't just for waking up. It is absolutely essential for calming the mind. You see, an academic brain in the middle of a semester is kind of like a speeding train. You can't just slam on the brakes at midnight and expect it to stop on a dime. You have to gracefully shut it down. By utilizing your digital foundation to automatically dim your lights, maybe switch them to much warmer color temperatures, and perhaps even trigger some white noise or ambient sounds, you are physically signaling to your biology that the workday is actually over. An automated, sensory environment does all the heavy lifting to wind you down, even when you still feel totally wired from a late-night study session.
8 hours. So the crucial point here is that this is when your brain actually stores and files away everything you studied that day. This is where memory consolidation happens, and achieving this optimal 8 hours of sleep is just made infinitely easier when smart technology is managing your wind-down routine for you. You aren't just tossing and turning in bed for an hour. Your environment has actually already prepped your body for deep, restorative sleep.
So I want you to take a look at your own setup right now. What single smart device will you change tonight to improve tomorrow's grades? Don't try to boil the ocean and change the whole shebang all at once. Just pick one thing. Maybe it's automating that morning lamp. Maybe it's finally using a voice assistant for those quick math checks. Take just one step to build your digital foundation tonight, and just watch how it transforms your learning tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Stay curious and happy studying.